You want to reminisce? Here's one of my favorites. My best day on Verdansk, man. I hop a rock and turn on him. It's like they were gift wrapped for me. I didn't just hit my PR, I flew past it. Ended up dropping 56. 56! I still haven't beaten that PR. But the grind ain't over. Verdansk is coming back, and so am I.
All right, today I just want to rant a little bit about FaZe SWAGG and just content creators in general. What you're watching in the gameplay is Mono for 3, a decently fun game. You know, I got some comments in the past couple of videos about how Mono for 3, might not be the best game or anything like that. I think amongst newer games, again, as I said, it's definitely one of the better ones. You can see the gameplay, the movement feels good, the guns feel good, time to kill, all that stuff feels pretty good. And so if you have a different opinion or whatever, go ahead and drop in the comments. But yeah, I like Mono for 3. Go ahead and sue me. It's definitely feels better than Black Ops 6, at least right now. I'm sure Black Ops 6 will feel a lot better next year when it's finally finished. But I'm not here to talk about next year. We're here to talk about right now, baby. We're here to talk about Warzone and, more importantly, content creators and their hype levels for Warzone and lack thereof as well. There's a lot of content creators who are equally not as hype for Warzone, and with good reason. Call of Duty Warzone, for those of you guys who don't know, and to be honest with you guys, I probably shouldn't even know either, but I keep up with news for some reason. I haven't played Warzone probably since like the pandemic, and I haven't played besides Rebirth Island, I would say, I haven't really played actual Warzone and cared about it probably since COVID times, quite a long time ago. As you guys know, they're trying to relive the COVID times right now with bringing Verdansk back. If you guys didn't know, and I don't really anticipate you guys do because, who keeps up with COD news anymore? Verdansk is supposedly dropping back here in Call of Duty in April 3rd. And I guess that's cool. I guess for the people who like Battle Royale, people who missed Verdansk, cool. I'm glad that you're getting something. I would not anticipate the best. I would not anticipate a seamless, super fun experience as you might be expecting from the days of, when you first played it back in 2020, 2021. I wouldn't expect that anymore. I wouldn't be counting my marbles, counting my sheep. What is the saying? I forget, but we're not here to talk about that because we'll talk about Warzone and probably what a mess it is when it drops. I'm sure there's going to be things that aren't working. I'm sure there's going to be hackers still. And we got this guy, FaZe SWAGG, as you saw in the beginning clip, talking about how hype he is. And, normally you'd probably be like, what the hell? What's the big deal, right? This guy's always hype about COD. This guy's always, been on Activision's payroll. This guy's always been a shill, whatever you want to say, right? And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, no, this guy actually took a stand against Call of Duty, and a lot of people praised him for it. A lot of people were happy that, one of the biggest content creators when it comes to Call of Duty, when it comes to COD content, streaming, daily YouTube videos, he was basically calling Activision and Call of Duty out because Warzone was in a terrible spot, right? Cheaters were everywhere. It was just not fun. They had no fun, exciting maps, and the gameplay overall was less exciting than what you're seeing right now, right? The gameplay you're seeing right now is nothing special. Again, for people who come to this channel for gameplay, keep looking because, you're only finding commentaries here. You're finding enjoyment and entertainment. Hopefully you're not really here for the gameplay. Unfortunately, I wish I was better. I wish I had the time to, filter through and reverse boost and kind of like SWAGG, reverse boost and filter through different lobbies and lobby surf and maybe VPN or 2box. I wish I had the time. I wish I had the resources, and I wish I cared enough about Call of Duty, about YouTube gameplay to do those things, but I don't. I don't care about those things. Okay. That doesn't concern me. I just come out here on the mic. I have very little free time these days, and I'm trying to spend it to revive the YouTube channel because, at the end of the day, I spent years, 5-6+ years on this YouTube channel, and I don't really want to see it go to waste. As bad and as boring as Call of Duty does, I don't want to see it go to waste. And, maybe that's what SWAGG's doing here, because for those guys who didn't know, this guy, SWAGG, basically left Call of Duty for a bit. And if he didn't officially leave, he was very close. He was on the borderline because he was saying some not nice stuff about Call of Duty. And again, like I said, people praised him about it. I probably gave him props back then too, because, finally one of the biggest guys is speaking out. It means that, hey, maybe Call of Duty Activision, maybe they're going to listen, right? They're not going to listen to me, Joe Schmo with 10K. They're not going to listen to people with even 100K, right? They're going to listen to certain people. They're not going to listen to like Blame Truth, Fully, even like Senior Citizen 8 Thoughts. Like they're not going to listen to these guys, right? They're only going to listen to the people who are on the nice list, on the not naughty list, essentially. And a lot of people put themselves on the other list, the naughty list. Obviously, it's good views, but also they're passionate about, you know, how bad the state of Call of Duty has been, right? People who make hate videos or, you know, disappointment videos, negative videos. These guys, yes, they're probably trying to get clicks, and I'm included in that. I'm not going to act like I'm not, but they also are fans who lost like the fun, and they just don't find the game fun. And you can't really blame them for that, because have you played Black Ops 6? Have you played modern Call of Duty, right? Hackers everywhere, skill-based matchmaking everywhere, just lack of content everywhere you look, microtransactions everywhere you look. Like it's not a fun experience, feeling nickel and dimed, feeling manipulated in your lobbies, and the lack of options, right? Not much to do. You don't have another option. You don't have X-Defiant. You don't have a fun FPS 6v6 arena shooter that you can just go to that's casual. And so, you know, what you're stuck with is, unfortunately, Call of Duty. Swag, you kind of voiced this, right? He was kind of on board with us when it came to, you know, oh, hackers in Warzone are bad, I'm not going to play anymore. And he made it pretty clear. He made it pretty evident that, you know, this was a big deal to him and this mattered. And, you know, he wasn't going to stand for it. And he didn't want to support the franchise, the game, when it felt like they weren't supporting him. And again, gave him props for that. Good job, Swag, right? Put your hands together for Swag, for FaZe SWAGG here, because he did the right thing. Well, unfortunately, as you can tell, he's back on the payroll. I don't know how fat of a check Activision wrote him. I don't know if they gave him free COD points, free publicity, the next 20 years of Call of Duty for free. I don't know what they gave him. Maybe I don't even know what they're going to do. I'm not going to say things on YouTube, but yeah, they're doing stuff for him, and they're definitely paying him, because I don't think he's, you know, making these hype videos for no reason, right? He's definitely getting publicity out of this, but he's also getting, I guess, some form of compensation, whether it's just paid in publicity or whether it's paid in like some kind of checks. I'm sure Activision, Call of Duty, whatever, I'm sure they're sending him something, right? I'm sure they're gifting him something. And, you know, unlike people who, I guess, stick to their stance. Like, of course, you can change your opinion about Warzone when things change. Like, if they deleted all the hackers, if the game got suddenly better, I get it. But to play on Warzone on Verdansk, and I'm assuming when he played, or if he's even played it, I don't even know if it's out yet for him to play. Maybe he play tested it, whatever. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's say he play tested it and he had a lot of fun. That means all of a sudden you're going to just talk positively about the game, right? It reminds me of like the old days back when like Thunder would, you know, basically make fun of people for going to early event games like Chaos Silencer and stuff like that. And they would just be kind of like, not bots, but they would beat up against other YouTubers and stuff like that, and, you know, play like 5 matches and then say like the game's great. Right? The game's super fun. And I feel like that's what he's doing here. That's what FaZe SWAGG is doing here, because how can you determine how this game is? Let's say you've played it, which I doubt he has. You probably played it on LAN. You probably played it against, yeah, arguably pretty sweaty players. I'm sure you played against other YouTubers and streamers if you played this, but how can you give that a fair assessment, a fair judgment, right? And, you know, if you're on the Call of Duty, not payroll, but if you're on the Call of Duty Twitter site, it's a Twitter account, you're popping up on the tweets and they're adding you and stuff like that, they're hyping you up, you think they're going to post you if you're just saying like, the game's mid, it's not as fun as it used to be, but it's okay. They're not going to post that. They're not going to invite you back, right? They're definitely not going to say anything and post it if you're like, oh, this game sucks, there's still so many hackers, don't play this, guys. Like, they're not going to do that. And you're not going to do that either, right? If you were in FaZe SWAGG's position and, you know, you had the choice of, hey, do you want to earn money by, you know, just saying things that like are slightly not true, or maybe they are completely not true. Maybe he hates the game. I don't know. Or do you want to just kind of like hang and just, you know, like, say it's okay. You don't really take a stance. You don't really hate. You don't really say it's great. And you just try to be like as honest as possible, and you don't get paid, right? It's pretty simple, right? Most people are going to just take that paycheck and run with it, right? Especially people in this position. Like I said, like, I don't know why for some reason, influencers just feel the need to just take things and act like things are theirs regardless of whether they are or not, and they feel a certain level of entitlement. I don't know if that's just me or what. That's just what I noticed on the internet. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. I kind of ran out of time. I don't want to go too hard on him because, again, people can change their opinions. Maybe by some grace he played this game and it's actually decent. You know, maybe I'll give him some benefit of the doubt, but I'm not gonna, you know, have my hopes super high or anything like that for that reason. But hopefully you enjoyed this gameplay commentary, and yeah, subscribe if you're new, leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave a comment. Do you think FaZe SWAGG is being genuine or not? I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.